Have you ever noticed that time disappears when you are fully engaged, but becomes heavy, slow, and uncomfortable when you are bored, anxious, or waiting? Nothing outside changes. The clock keeps moving at the same pace. The world does not slow down or speed up, but your experience of time changes completely. That difference does not come from the clock, it comes from your brain. Your brain does not experience time as a straight line. It does not feel seconds passing one by one. It does not live inside the ticking of a clock. Instead, your brain rebuilds time after the moment has already passed. That is why 1 hour can feel like a few minutes, and a few minutes can feel endless. Most people never stop to question this. They assume time is something fixed, something objective, something that exists independently of perception. But the truth is far more unsettling. Time as you experience it is a mental construction. When you look at a clock, you see numbers moving forward, but your brain does not experience numbers. It experiences change, sensation, and memory. There is no ticking sound inside your mind, no internal stopwatch, counting seconds with precision. For your brain, time is not measured, it is assembled. For many years, scientists believed the brain had a central internal clock, a single system that tracked time like a hidden metronome. Modern neuroscience has shown that this idea is incorrect. There is no single clock. Instead, there are many systems working together, each contributing a piece to the experience of time. These systems are influenced by attention, by emotion, by novelty, by mental state, and by memory. Time as you feel it is the result of all these processes interacting. This is why time sometimes feels stable and other times feels completely distorted. Attention plays one of the most powerful roles. When your attention is deeply focused, when you are absorbed in an activity, your brain shifts resources away from tracking time. Attention moves away from seconds and minutes and toward the experience itself. When this happens, your brain creates very few temporal markers. Later, when you try to remember how long something lasted, your memory finds very little information. So your brain concludes that must have been short. This is why enjoyable moments feel like they vanish. Now consider boredom or anxiety. When nothing captures your attention, your brain turns inward. It begins monitoring time itself. Every moment becomes noticeable. Every second feels present. Your memory fills with repeated markers, still here, still waiting. Nothing has changed. Later, when your brain reconstructs the experience, it finds many markers. So the experience feels long. Time did not slow down. Your brain counted it. This leads to one of the most important realizations. You do not experience time as it happens. You experience time after your brain reconstructs it. Your brain does not store duration, it stores events, sensations, and emotional changes. Later, it asks a simple question: how much happened? If many things happened, time feels long. If few things happened, time feels short. The feeling of time is created from memory density. This explains why intense periods of life feel strange. A stressful year, a major life change, a difficult emotional period. While living it, time may have felt fast, chaotic, or overwhelming, but when you look back, it feels long. This happens because those periods contain many emotional markers. Your brain confuses memory density with duration. The past did not last longer, it left more traces. This also explains why childhood felt different. As a child, almost everything is new. New environments, new rules, new emotions, new discoveries. Each day creates many strong memories. Because memory density is high, time feels slow and expansive. As an adult, routine reduces novelty. Days repeat experiences, blur, memory formation weakens. Years seem to disappear. Time did not accelerate, your brain recorded less. There are also mental states where time almost disappears. Deep focus, creative flow, meditation. In these states, the brain temporarily shuts down time tracking. Not because time stops, but because tracking it is unnecessary. When you return, it feels like time vanished. At this point, something important becomes clear. Time as you experience it is subjective. It depends on attention, emotion, and memory, and it is reconstructed after events occur. But now comes the uncomfortable question. What happens when the brain reconstructs time incorrectly? Why does time sometimes feel skipped, missing, or out of order? To understand this, you need to understand how prediction works. Your brain does not only react to reality, it predicts it. To function efficiently, your brain constantly guesses what will happen next, fractions of a second before you are aware of it. This predictive system allows smooth movement, fast reactions, and a stable sense of reality, but it also creates cracks in the experience of time. Sometimes you react before you realize you reacted, you catch something falling, you step back instinctively, you speak before thinking. This happens because your brain prepared the action before awareness arrived. Consciousness follows, it does not lead. So time feels strange, as if events happened before you noticed them. In reality, your brain acted first, awareness came later. This also explains the sensation of missing time. You drive somewhere and barely remember the journey. Time did not disappear. Your brain stopped recording details. When an activity becomes automatic, memory formation drops. Without memory, the brain later assumes time was short or absent. No memory, no felt time. Modern life intensifies this effect. Constant stimulation fragments attention. Your brain jumps rapidly between notifications, tasks, and thoughts. Attention never settles. Memory formation weakens days. Blur together, weeks disappear. Time feels unstable, sometimes unreal. Not because reality changed, but because your brain stopped anchoring experiences. This also explains experiences like déjà vu. Déjà vu occurs when the brain mistakenly labels the present as familiar. The result is the powerful sensation this already happened, but nothing repeated. The brain misfired a timing signal, and the present moment felt like the past. Time did not loop, perception misaligned. Throughout your life, your brain continuously assembles time from fragments. Attention shapes time, emotion shapes time, memory shapes time. The clock remains constant, you do not. Time is not something you move through. It is something your brain builds. When time feels fast, slow, missing, or unreal, nothing is wrong with you. You are witnessing the limits of how your mind constructs experience. Once you notice this, your relationship with time changes. You stop trying to control the clock and begin understanding attention. Because slowing down life is not about having more time. It is about creating more meaningful moments, more presence, more novelty, more emotional engagement. In the end, time does not slip away. Your mind releases it. As you move through life, your brain keeps doing this, silently assembling moments, discarding others, compressing some, stretching others. You rarely notice this process because it happens below awareness, but its effects shape your entire experience. They shape how long your days feel, how fast your years seem to pass, and how connected or disconnected you feel from your own life. This is why two people can live through the same hour and feel like they lived completely different amounts of time. One may feel exhausted, the other energized. One may feel the hour dragged, the other may feel it vanished. The difference is not the situation. It is how the brain processed it. Your brain is constantly deciding what is important enough to remember and what can be ignored. Time that feels full is time that left traces. Time that feels empty is time your brain let dissolve. This is why moments of meaning feel different. A deep conversation, a moment of realization, a feeling of connection. These moments slow time, not because they last longer, but because they create more internal change. Your brain registers them as significant, and significance creates duration. This is also why distraction creates the opposite effect. When attention is fragmented, when your mind jumps constantly, nothing leaves a strong trace. Hours can pass, but they leave no weight. Later, you look back and feel confused. Where did the time go? It did not go anywhere. It was never fully built. Your brain never assembled it into something solid. This understanding reveals something important. If time is constructed from attention and memory, then your experience of life depends on where you place your attention. You cannot slow down the clock, but you can slow down your experience. Not by doing less, but by being more present. Presence creates memory. Memory creates duration. This is why novelty changes time. Doing something new, learning something unfamiliar, breaking routine. These actions force the brain to record more detail. Time feels fuller, days feel longer, life feels richer. Routine is efficient, but efficiency collapses time. The brain stops recording what it already knows. This is why years filled with repetition disappear so quickly. Your brain is not cruel, it is economical. It saves energy by ignoring what feels predictable, but in doing so, it compresses your sense of time. Understanding this does not mean rejecting routine. It means balancing it, introducing moments of awareness, of curiosity, of emotional engagement. These moments anchor time. This is also why emotional intensity bends time so strongly. Fear, joy, sadness, awe. Emotion signals importance. When emotion is high, the brain increases processing. More internal frames are created. Later, when the brain reconstructs the moment, it feels longer. This is why frightening moments feel stretched and joyful. Moments feel vivid. Your brain is not measuring seconds. It is measuring meaning. This explains why waiting feels so uncomfortable. Waiting creates awareness without engagement. You are aware of time but not absorbed in anything. The brain records the waiting itself. Every moment becomes a marker. So the experience stretches. The discomfort is not just impatience, it is your brain over-recording time. Understanding this allows you to change how you wait by redirecting attention, by engaging the mind, by creating small points of interest. You are not killing time, you are reshaping it. All of this leads to a quiet but powerful realization: you are not trapped inside time. Time is something your mind builds around you. Your experience of life is not limited by hours and minutes. It is shaped by attention, meaning, and memory. When you feel that life is passing too fast, it is not because time is accelerating, it is because fewer moments are being fully lived. This understanding does not make time controllable, but it makes it understandable, and understanding changes experience. Once you see how time is constructed, you begin to notice it everywhere. In conversations, in work, in silence, in distraction. You start to see that time does not simply pass. It emerges moment by moment from what your mind chooses to notice. And this brings us to something important. If your brain builds time, then your experience of time is not fixed. It is flexible. It responds to awareness. The more you notice, the more time expands. The less you notice, the more time collapses. This is not philosophy, it is how the brain works. And once you recognize this, you cannot unsee it. You stop asking where time went and start asking where your attention was. Because time does not disappear, it is either built or it is ignored. And the difference between those two is the difference between feeling alive and feeling like life is slipping away. Now that you understand this, you begin to see your days differently. You see that slowing life down is not about doing fewer things. It is about doing things with presence, noticing change, feeling emotion, allowing moments to leave traces. This is how time becomes real. Not because the clock changes, but because you do. And if this idea feels unsettling, that is normal. It means you are touching the edge of how perception works. Most people never notice this. They move through time without questioning it. But once you see it, you cannot go back. You begin to live more deliberately, not chasing time, but shaping it. And that is where this journey leads. Not to control, but to awareness. Not to slowing the clock, but to deepening experience. Because in the end, time does not control you. Your mind creates the time you live in. And now that you see that, you can choose to build it differently. If this changed the way you think about time, subscribe for more videos exploring how the mind shapes reality, share your thoughts in the comments, and ask yourself one simple question today. Where is my attention right now?